America, the greatest nation on earth, is currently facing unprecedented times of social unrest, and dare I say, this is just the beginning. Regardless of who presides over the nation, we should always be aware of the so-called shadow government and their agenda. And mark my words, our nation is in 4 times of massive unrest that were being plotted as early as 2015 and will continue until the global agenda pursued by George Soros and his allies is implemented. The coming out of control riots may lead to a call for martial law, as I will explain. America has been preparing for massive social uprisings for a very long time. A quick research on the topic will reveal this truth. What I am about to tell you next might come as a surprise for some of you, but most of the things that we experience are being manufactured. Never in my lifetime have I seen America so divided. Our politicians and the mainstream media have been endlessly pitting various groups against one another for years, and everywhere you look, hearts are growing very cold. Trump's victory has come as a surprise for many. But if we consider the new state of play of the world, where the economic crisis has led to global divisions driving, thus, a return to national interests over the global ones, voting for Trump has been the obvious choice. During difficult times, we must safeguard the values and interests of the American people. But manufacturing nationwide protests during confusing times may be just what protester-riot-unrestsome might wish for in order to divide and destabilize the country in exchange for the ability to control us at all times. In case we don't comply with their desires, we will face dire consequences, as the infamous Zbigniew Brzezinski, the imperialist-globalist-warmonger and former policy advisor to Obama, said, "Today, it is infinitely easier to kill 1 million people than to control 1 million people." After some extensive research on the matter, I am inclined to affirm that what we're currently experiencing is just the beginning, and the protests are rapidly turning into violent riots. Although many commentators are claiming that martial law will not be declared, we can never be sure of what is being planned for us. Times may be just what protester-riot-unrestsome might wish for in order to divide and destabilize the country in exchange for the ability to control us at all times. In case we don't comply with their desires, we will face dire consequences, as the infamous Zbigniew Brzezinski, the imperialist-globalist-warmonger and former policy advisor to Obama, said, "Today, it is infinitely easier to kill 1 million people than to control 1 million people." After some extensive research on the matter, I am inclined to affirm that what we're currently experiencing is just the beginning, and the protests are rapidly turning into violent riots. Although many commentators are claiming that martial law will not be declared, we can never be sure of what is being planned for us. So, here's a glimpse of how life will be when martial law comes into effect. Everything we own can become federal property, especially guns and food stockpiles, which will be the first to be confiscated. Martial law USA. Curfews will be the new normal, while groups of armed men and women will patrol the streets at all times. Access to food, water and other resources will be rationed. If your life depends on a daily dose of medication, you should start storing it in advance. There will be sky-high inflation, and with a national debt of almost $20 trillion, the stage is set to skyrocket a new financial crisis that will make the 1930s depression look like a walk in the park. Everyone will be considered suspicious. A short chit-chat with your neighbor about the wrong things can put your life on the line. There will be no access to free internet, while free press and freedom of speech will be things of the past. The 6 Golden Rules of Surviving Martial Law. Prepper or no prepper. These are the 6 golden rules to follow if martial law comes to your town. 1. First and foremost, talk with no one and trust no one. Although the clear majority of preppers are already set to outlast any scenario that cuts them off from all the common supply lines, we must remember that under martial law, everything that we own is able to become government property. Therefore, do not tell people about your supplies or secret hideouts. I know it's hard not to brag about your preps, but be careful to whom you're talking. 2. Always renew your supplies and make sure you have a basic martial law survival kit. A basic martial law survival kit would imply the following: electricity generator, water filters or even water generators, H2O dynamo, weapons, food supplies for 6 months, first aid supplies, clothing for any type of weather, a flashlight, batteries, radio gear, and navigation equipment. Of course, you'll need these if you want to stay put. If you want to go outside and face the music, that's a different story. 3. Avoid getting in the way of law enforcement or the military. Even though some would advise that we be resilient to any violations of your constitutional rights, which, by the way, will be justified under martial law, the best survival tactics are to keep your cool and think before you react. You can always choose to fight back. These two options, bugging in or bugging out, will cause you to probably face the hardest decision of your life. 4. Tune in and be up to date with the news. It is crucial to stay informed and keep in touch with whomever you consider important. Every media outlet, as well as the internet, will be controlled by the federal government, and you will not have access to any other information except what is being communicated by the state. Although this might be upsetting, you still need to know what is going to happen so you can be prepared for any situation. 5. Cautiously develop a survival network. Establishing a survival network would be an excellent idea considering the fact that we can never know for how long martial law will be imposed. Consequently, setting up a diverse group of preppers will ensure your long-term survival. But make sure you keep a low profile so that you and your group will not be targeted as perpetrators. 6. Inspect and know your surroundings by heart. You should be able to visualize your home turf even in your sleep. Ideally, you would also have a safe room. Make sure you have a blueprint of your area where you mark the closest escape routes, develop the quickest itinerary to a safe haven, and formulate the best and safest evacuation strategy. You may also see the description of this video. How to disappear completely when SHTF. What you need in your SHTF survival team, and much more.